Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking a pretty amazing geographical journey together. We're going to base our trip right on the source chapter, Some Unique Places, following a young girl named Shanti and her family on a sprawling cross-country adventure. From the deep blue southern islands all the way up to towering, lush green mountains. We're going to explore exactly what makes our natural world so wondrous, and honestly, why it is just so absolutely crucial to protect it. So let's get started.
Okay, let's dive into this. 75%. Our source notes that India holds around 75% of the world's wild tigers. Just think about that for a second. That statistic is absolutely staggering. And it brings us right to the core question of this explainer. What exactly makes a place a nature hotspot? Well, a hotspot isn't just a place with a few extra trees. It's a unique environment, literally brimming with rare plants and animals that simply cannot be found anywhere else on the planet.
To really understand these hotspots, here is our flight itinerary for today. 1. Journey to the islands. 2. The Sundarbans mangroves. 3. Traditions of the Northeast. 4. Exploring the Western Ghats. And 5. Protecting nature's hotspots. Let's jump into Section 1. Journey to the islands. Exploring the Andaman and Nicobar. We're kicking off the first leg of our journey all the way down at the southernmost tip of India. By definition, an island is quite literally a piece of land completely surrounded by water on all sides. Shanti and her family begin their travels right in Sri Vijayapuram, which is the capital city of this island chain. And when you're entirely surrounded by the sea, the environment kind of evolves in its own isolation. That creates a truly magical ecosystem. And that isolation brings us to some highly unique wildlife. Because these islands are cut off from the mainland, they become a spectacular nature hotspot, hosting life found nowhere else on Earth. I mean, you have rare birds like the Andaman wood pigeon and the Andaman hornbill just flying through the forest canopy. And beneath the waves, it's like a whole different forest down there. Tiny, colorful corals that not only look beautiful, but actually provide essential shelter for countless marine creatures. Of course, living on a landmass completely surrounded by water completely changes how you move and interact with your world. Ferries are basically the lifelines connecting these island communities. And before even stepping onto one of these boats, locals and visitors alike are briefed on safety measures, like wearing life jackets at all times. It's a constant, everyday reminder of the power of the sea, really setting the stage for how deeply the locals respect and interact with their surrounding environment. This environment fosters a deep connection with nature, and it's a connection that can actually be life-saving. The source text shares the fascinating story of North Sentinel Island, where people live much like ancient hunter-gatherers, completely isolated from modern visitors. Back in 2004, a devastating tsunami hit the region, yet they survived. How? Well, by relying on their profound ancient knowledge. They noticed warning signs in nature, sudden changes in the wind, the shifting sea, the unusual behavior of animals. Their deep connection with nature didn't just enrich their lives, it kept them safe.
Moving right along to Section 2, the Sundarbans mangroves, where the river meets the sea.
From the open ocean, we take a ship up to Kolkata and step into a completely different kind of forest, the largest mangrove forest in the entire world. Imagine walking along these muddy, salty banks right where the river Ganga meets the sea. Shanti looks down and notices something bizarre. What are those tiny stick-like things poking straight up out of the muddy water? Let's solve this mini mystery together.
The answer is absolutely fascinating. They are breathing roots. Normal trees would just drown in this thick, muddy salt water. But the mangroves, they've adapted, sending tiny roots up into the air to breathe. But wait, that's not all. These roots play a massive role for the whole environment. They act like a giant net, grabbing onto the loose soil, holding it together, and acting as a barrier that stops crashing waves from washing the land away. It's basically nature's own flood defense system.
Which brings us to Section 3, Traditions of the Northeast, Green Hills and Local Heroes. We're shifting our focus up to the Seven Sisters in Sikkim now. And what's really interesting about this slide is seeing how human beings can mirror that protective nature we just looked at. We usually think of regular, wide-spreading tree roots just anchoring a massive trunk into the earth, right? But in the Northeast, those roots are guided across streams to become literal, living root bridges. Over many, many years, local communities gently guide the growing roots of trees. Once they connect and thicken up, they form these incredibly strong, living, walking paths. It is a perfect partnership between human ingenuity and natural growth. And that human-nature connection goes even deeper here. Local women step up as absolute heroes. actively teaching children how to protect the nests of the Hargella bird, making sure the population of these storks grows instead of shrinking. And here is my personal favorite detail: managing elephant encounters. Instead of using harmful fences, locals use Boot jolokia. Yep, the ghost pepper, literally one of the hottest chilies in the world, to naturally deter giant elephants away from their crops. Just brilliant, sustainable coexistence.
Section 4. Exploring the Western Ghats, a mountain range of biodiversity.
From the northeast, Shanti's journey takes us all the way down across the country to a vast chain of forested hills passing through 6 different states. The Western Ghats are a globally recognized nature hotspot, and this brilliantly illustrates just how bursting with biodiversity it is. From tiny herbs on the forest floor, to rushing waterfalls, to rare creatures like the famous, vibrantly colored Indian giant squirrel just jumping through the canopy. Everything is deeply connected in this spice-filled forest. So, the crucial point here is that you really don't have to be an adult scientist with a lab coat to study this amazing biodiversity. While in the Western Ghats, Shanti meets a group of local students doing a survey. By working together with farmers and experts, these kids managed to find and record over 200 different types of mangoes in their region alone. It just proves that anyone, no matter their age, can get actively involved in studying and celebrating nature.
And that leads us to Section 5, Protecting Nature's Hotspots, the Power of Community Action.
As we bring this travelogue towards its conclusion, we really have to talk about the most important lesson Shanti learns on her trip. Understanding nature is only half the battle. The other half is what we actually do with that knowledge. Long ago, a massive dam was planned in an area of the Western Ghats called the Silent Valley. If built, it would have completely flooded this special, ancient forest. But people from all walks of life didn't just sit back. Villagers, students, and scientists united in what became the Save Silent Valley movement. Because they cared enough to act together, the dam was stopped. The forest remains successfully saved and protected today. It's proof, for sure, that collective voices can literally change the course of history. Shanti's journey ends at Kanyakumari, the very southern tip of the mainland, where 3 mighty seas meet. We've seen coral reefs, living root bridges, mangrove forests, and spice-filled mountains. Everywhere, people depend on nature, and nature depends on us. So, based directly on the chapter's final reflection, I want to leave you with this question to think about. If you could visit just one of these spectacular places, what would you do there to help protect it? Think about your own community action plan. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I absolutely can't wait to explore more of our wondrous world with you next time.